thing that says
No,
nah?
yeah, well, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
nah,
that's the
nah.
song that plays through my mind when I see the spinny thing about whether we're live or not. But I
Mm.
do have a routine that
Oh.
shows YouTube going live, then saying, okay, no, try again.
Mm-hmm.
Refresh the tab, comes
Mm-hmm.
back, shows us live, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. Always
Mm-hmm.
nice to know that we're live.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know that we are live.
Okay. Well,
Well, we're
I just did
live.
the same thing. We're live. So,
Well, I had to tell you the story.
no, I appreciate it. I really do. It was a great story. Everyone in the chat room, let's give it up for Darrell. We're going to clap for him. Um. So.
Well, speaking to give it up, thanks to
Oh,
everyone who.
never gonna let you down.
No, I wasn't going to
Um.
rickroll them, my goodness. But if you're going to sing, you better fulfill that promise that I made for you on your behalf. That if we get people to subscribe and we reach that 100 mark so we can get our own custom URL, that you were going to write a country ballad
Yeah.
about that.
Well, that was like the second thing. I actually said that you would send everyone candy that
May
subscribed.
send candy.
Right.
Yeah.
But you actually promised. You didn't say May. You.
I was certain of it. I mean, you were
Wow.
practicing beforehand after midnight and happy trails, and I thought you were warming up in the green room. Then that's the room before we go live, and
Yeah.
Daniel was warming up with red leather, yellow leather, all that stuff.
I
Oh, Kaizala,
think.
sorry.
Yeah. I think it's a Patsy Cline song, and then Garth Brooks did it a long time ago. But I think it's a Patsy Cline song. I go out walking. Yes, let's talk about Kaizala in the minute and a half, which is about what it requires. Microsoft announced this past week that Kaizala
Bless you.
uh, would have only one more year of support, and that no new Kaizalas, I don't know, what do they call them? Kaizala signups,
A plural of
networks.
Kaizalas.
I don't know. No new signups, no
Mm.
new activations of the product would happen. So transitioning everyone to Teams. So if you are using Kaizala, then if you're one of those 13 organizations using it, then you need to transition to Teams.
But it was huge in countries where bandwidth was
Indeed.
difficult to come by. That was supposedly one of the big draw cards was you could
Mm-hmm.
easily sign up, only needed your
Mm-hmm.
phone number. You could use it over low bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it gives you like a chat-based thing with a whole lot of tools. And oh, we were going to bring that to Teams so that you wouldn't need Kaizala, but have we got there today?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Not yet.
that's done yet. But
Yeah.
anyway, so if you're using Kaizala, then you got a year to enjoy it, and then you can't use it anymore. But yeah, that was the only thing. Well, not the only thing. That was a big thing that was announced last week.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah. It
Well,
is.
we're at time.
Let's
Let's get
do
the
it.
show going.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 365 Message Center show. I am Daniel, and that over there is Darrell, and this is episode 252. This is all about, well, it's not all about, our headline, our main topic that we're highlighted as introducing the adoption score, which is it really an introduction? We'll get to that. How are you, Darrell? How are you doing?
Well, after that voice bait, because it's not clickbait, people are listening, people are watching. Yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to talking with you about the adoption score, among other different messages and things that are happening. But yeah, I'm good. That was a long response.
Fantastic. Yeah, just a small tidbit. Sandy in the chat room says, and I'll edit this out of the audio part, but Sandy in the chat room says, both Daniel again. So there's a story behind this. We won't go into too deep. It's just because basically Darrell left and came back in, and he didn't change his name thing, and it takes the name of the last person that joined. So now it's fixed. Thank you so much, Sandy, for pointing that out, and that's 2 demerits for Darrell. Hopefully he doesn't get another one, because there's detention afterwards if he gets another one.
And what do? I write lines about I must not be Daniel, I must not catfish Daniel.
Right. I must not try to pretend.
Easily confused, we're so alike. A bit like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're just so similar.
Twins? Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. So, thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you. Love seeing people in the chat room. Thank you for joining. Before we jump in, and we're going to jump in right now, right after I say this, make sure that you are following us on socials at 365MCS. We are on all the socials of Twitter, Insta, all of them. Just go out there, whatever you're, and run with it. And also go ahead and share this episode. Give it a thumbs up, okay? That helps people find it. But go ahead and share it out to your socials. All right, go ahead and do that. You can just copy paste. I like this. I hate this. Whatever. Just click the button.
Yeah, it's all good feedback.
And then finally, as we mentioned, announced last week, we are going to be moving YouTube channels. So we need your help. This is a help us help you kind of thing, because we need you to go out and subscribe to the new channel so that you'll get the notifications of when we go live. We're going to be doing actually more than just this. We have big plans. So make sure you go and follow the new channel and subscribe to it. 365mcs.com/newtube, NEWTUBE. That's just a shortcut to the channel in YouTube that we're going to. And go ahead and subscribe now. Tell your friends. And we're going to be doing some fantastic stuff. So that will be coming soon, within the next few weeks. We won't be on this channel. We'll be broadcasting over there. So you want to make sure that you capture and connect with us over there.
You know what I like about this, Daniel, is it's a good demonstration of change management. We're repeating the message. We're trying to give you an incentive. We haven't got a champions group, although we could say that those who are regulars in the chat and that do watch us live are our champions. So go out there and tell people. We're not going to do any leaflet drops on people's desks. We
or posters
could
in the
make
elevator.
Muffins and put our faces on them or not. That might not travel well. But yeah, change management.
That's right. So here we are. We're going to jump into our messages as promised. So first up is, I'm actually excited about this one, Darrell, because this one is live translated captions in meetings and calls, MC420049. This kind of sounds like, this is live translated captions. Okay, great, cool. Translated captions. This means live, as you're in a meeting, watching a presentation, whatever, it's going to translate to your language. Okay, so if maybe you speak the language that is being presented in as a second language or even a third language, you can choose your first language. Maybe get a little bit more insights as to what's going on with the presentation. So the list of spoken language that's impressive. It's very impressive. And then the list of translated languages are listed there. I'm not going to go through them, but
what's
it
the
is
difference,
pretty impressive.
Daniel? Translated versus supported translation languages, or spoken versus translated?
There is some differences. However, it is anyway. We'll let the people look at it, but it is pretty different on what is supported, and things like spoken supported languages. One thing that we're near and dear to our heart. There's actually an English US, an English Canada, an English India, English UK, English Australia, and English New Zealand. I don't know. Maybe if you select the person is speaking English Australian, for instance, and you've got English as what's translated to. Maybe when they say good day, maybe it's going to say hello or something.
Yeah,
don't know.
I think that's what I meant by differences. That
Yeah.
the spoken languages, that the cognitive service that listens to that spoken language has been trained to understand a bit about the accents and little twangs or whatever, and
Maybe.
it can take that and translate it to these other languages that may need to be displayed on the screen if that's how you want to receive
Yeah.
it for
And
captions.
and all kidding aside, I mean this is really very useful functionality here for making us more productive and not trying to remove that language barrier. So this will be rolling out worldwide and GCC, Government Cloud, mid-September through early October, and then GCC High and DoD will be after. It will be mid-October through early November. So shortly, all clouds pretty much getting this by the end of October, early November timeframe. Again, I think this is great for those, even for organizations that may be based in one country. There may be some people in your organization that just speak that language as a second language or something, and it would be great for them to see, hear and see and be able to understand more clearly. So I'm really looking forward to this so I can understand all those Canadians I meet with on a regular basis. Yeah, that was a joke. Darrell, I mentioned before the introducing of this score thing. Is it really an introduction? I can't wait to hear your take on this.
Yeah, this is M365 Admin Center, so an update to the Admin Center introducing Adoption Score MC419812. Yeah, is it new? Well, what is clear as you get into the message is that it is a evolution of the productivity score, and I think if you read into the blog post, which is mentioned in the message, there's a nice link through to that. The trouble with the productivity score was that it wasn't launched. There was some sensitivity around how it was launched. Initially, you could drill down to see the productivity activities of individual people, and that was quickly turned off and anonymized a bit like Viva Insights, but you could say the damage was done in terms of how it appeared to the public. The name remained, so productivity score also didn't give a good impression in terms of, oh, you're measuring my productivity, or you're measuring the productivity organization, you're not sending enough emails. So there was a lot of misunderstanding around how this service was used and also who had access to it. Sadly, some people in the community also blogged and did videos about it with the whole sort of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, scared people to get clicks. And the service itself is useful. It's just it was the launch was not great. So on to the evolution of it. Adoption Score is a more appropriate name. It is still at the moment the same service with one change, that they have extended the stats, and they're calling this what is it called? I think it was timeline or something. Oh, trends, right. So I will just flick over to it, Daniel, because it's always easier to see and chat a bit about the actual thing that we can see. Adoption Score, you'll find it in the Admin Center and in Reports. You can open up Adoption Score and view that there. So it's already live in My Tenant and probably in most places. It is something that you can access if you're an admin or if you have certain roles as well. So if you're a global reader, you've been permissioned to read the reports within the M365 Admin Center, that you can see this. Now, Daniel, before I look a bit closer at Adoption Score, did you use the productivity score beforehand?
Yes. But I would say for me, it wasn't very proactive as look at this all the time, trying to figure out, what's going on. but it is always good to see, are people using tools, and are they engaging and such. So that was part of the story, and what we told our customers, and what I told my friends and family, was to use it as part of that engagement, or understanding engagement in the organization.
The score trend of different services, we know we've got security score. This was part of the same kind of thinking. The idea was to measure key things around people experiences. So that's my experience, or how I'm using certain tools in communication, in collaboration, content, teamwork. And then there's also an aspect of the technology experience. So how am I experiencing it based on the reliability of services? So this was still part of a productivity score for a while. If we go into like the communication side of things, what we do see is this new ability to see further back. What was, I believe it was 28 days or 30 days. Now we can push it right through to 180 days and see trends from across a longer period of time. We do see a peer benchmark just to see how we're tracking against other similar tenants and verticals. Again, that's just giving you a mark to say this is where you might want to be. But getting into the trends, or rather the advice itself, this is just at an organizational level. It's taking a look at some things about how I'm communicating. So down here, explore how your org communicates. The interesting thing, over the past 180 days, this is how many times I've used @mentions within this demo tenant. And so it's measuring that to see, am I using this feature to be able to call people out and get more attention from them on an email, and improving that communication. If it measures that up, it also has content that you can review and potentially send to your people as a quick way of improving adoption of this particular feature. So this is a video in the support.microsoft.com webpage, and you can take and send it out. So I would say Daniel, it's a bit like a really light touch way of addressing adoption. That if you're a busy admin, you don't have someone who's helping you out with training and user adoption, maybe you might want to look in here occasionally based on your organizational goals, and send out some of these tips. And you've got data to support how people are actually using this in terms of their behaviors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's I feel like an application to that whole maturity model concept that Microsoft had for a while, of how mature is your organization? What is adoption looking like? Are people still using email versus using the better tools like Teams or Yammer to have conversation around announcements, and what is it looking like for your organization? So I think it's good. Don't be scared of this. Look at this and enable your organization with data points of how you're doing, and where you might see some improvement. And from an IT admin perspective, empowering your adoption people, those change agents, with the tools and the information, and maybe get yourself a kudos. But that's not why we're in this. We're in this to help our organization. But here it is, helping them understand what these scores mean as well.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, it is available now. If not, it's a day or two away, and you know where to find it. You just check out the blog and some of the docs.com advice that's available here about how that works. But they really want to labor the point too, that this data is not available to everyone or to managers. It is to people who have the appropriate role to access it. So if it's admins, great. I suggest if you do have someone in the adoption space, that you would give them a reader role so that they might be able to use this for generally larger advice. Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Next up, we have talked about this product a lot in the past month or two. So upcoming changes as we prepare, we, Microsoft, not we, Darrell and I, as we prepare for transition from Stream Classic to Stream on SharePoint, MC 419387. This is laying out the timeline as to when things are going to change. So first off, they're turning off the ability for new clients to have Stream Classic. So to be honest, I thought they should have maybe done this a long time ago, but here we are, and that's fine. Here we are. It's great. So for new customers, you won't be able to use Stream Classic. And if you've never used the Stream Classic that is actually in your tenant, it's just not something that's used at all, then when you go to click on the Stream tile, you will not be taken to that. You'll be taken to the new Stream on SharePoint landing page. Okay, so this will be rolling out mid-October through mid-November for standard, and then GCC mid-October through mid-November, same time frame. So that's kind of the breakdown here. Is one is they're not going to have new ones, new classic Stream Classic environments created, and then for the tile, for the Stream tile in the Microsoft 365 app launcher, they're going to change it. Right now, you can actually change it in settings to say, I want it to point to Stream Classic. Make it so, number one. And it does. It'll still point to it. But they're going to change it to where that won't be the case anymore. And it won't point to the Classic Stream. So this is definitely a big change. They've been talking about it for a while. We've been talking about it for a while. Hopefully you've been listening. And working on creating those experiences for your video in your organization, not using Stream Classic, but using the Pages experience. When Mark was on, we demonstrated how to do that, how to create that in Teams, how to create that in SharePoint. So you've got those resources available. So if you haven't made those changes yet in your organization on video, hop to it because you're running out of time. Darrell, do you think we have all of the tools we need for this Stream transition?
We do, but it's going to take some work to try and provide a similar experience to what we have in Stream Classic. And I think this is a perfect example of what we might, Daniel, spend some time creating another video and a good discussion, just focusing on something like that to step through it again and create a good discussion and resource. It's like, in short, it relies on you to curate those videos in the site that becomes the channel, and then it's over to you to place them on the page to give it that feeling of, here's my collection of videos, and we think that it needs work. So I think it warrants a good discussion.
Yeah, if you want that YouTube type experience for your users, there is no magical thing that's going to happen. You have to do some curation. So, yep. So that's coming. October is when it's starting. So get on with it. Darrell, the next up is we've got some Viva saving us some sanity and helping us catch up.
Yeah, it's quite a long title. Microsoft Viva recurring time booking for breaks, learning, and message catch-up in Viva Insights, MC 417898. We have focus time, don't we, Daniel? We can create focus time ad hoc. So that might be we go in via an email that we get, our briefing email, and Viva will send that out and say, hey, you want to book some focus time? Here's a couple of slots I recommend. Or you could go into Teams and do that for yourself. Third option, you could create a focus plan. Actually, there's a fourth option. As a manager, you might create a focus plan that's shared with your team. So that's all about focus and carving out time to focus on key tasks that you might not normally be able to do because of your back-to-back meetings. So you're carving out that time and protecting it. Well, it looks like Microsoft want to purpose that for other labels of different types of focus time, deliberately taking a break. So this could be that you're scheduling a lunch break and using Viva Insights to do that. That you're scheduling time to learn, to increase your skills, to do, use a course. Maybe using Viva Learning if that's available to you, and jumping in there, or message catch-up time. It's good to have these kinds of prompts, and we don't have any screenshots to really show what this looks like, not even in additional information yet. But yeah, I think it's good to have these pieces of time within our day to be able to focus and get things done, rather than leaving it up to chance or for someone to eat that time up with something else. But Daniel, what do you think this is going to look like within our calendars, or booking these new types of focus time?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, for me, I would like for it to be like a tiger.
Okay.
And I want it to bite anyone who tries to book over top it. Like, I want it to reach out and smack them and say, listen,
Yep.
do not book over this. So whatever we can make that happen to where, I have book time and it constantly gets, booked over top. Not just from my internal company, but inside my company, but also external. But it is a struggle to protect it, as we all know, I think. So how can we best make this to where it really is protected? And because that's what this is about, is trying to protect ourselves from getting double booked and triple booked, and then but also protects free time so we can actually focus and do things like message catch up.
Yeah. I tried to book that time in on either side of an important meeting, so if there might be any kind of follow-up. But the goal of this service is just to do it for you and to make sure you've got that time. So yeah, we don't quite know what this looks like, but we do know that it should be rolling out nowish, because it's late August, very late August, and expect to be complete in mid-September. So perhaps we'll start seeing that this week. Check in your Viva Insights. Check in the Protect Time category or tab within Teams, and you might find some new options there about the different kinds of time that you can book in a reoccurring fashion. Moving along to... Ooh, what's this? Looks like we can do something with downloads in Teams.
Yes, sir. You read that correctly. Custom download location for files in Teams, MC420059. So right now, when you go and try to download something from Teams, whether it's an image or audio or video or whatever file you want to download it automatically throws it in your downloads folder. Okay, that's fine, but sometimes people want to handle this differently. Maybe they want to put it in a place that is automatically backed up with OneDrive, for instance, on their desktop or My Documents. So this is going to allow for you to do that. In early September rolling out, expected to be completed by late October. This is a setting in Teams where you can say, I want all my downloads to go to this particular location. You can also set the toggle to say, I want to be asked every time. Ask me where I want to save the file every time. So if that's you, and sometimes I feel like that for me, I want it to ask me every time. But others, again, I might just want to throw it in my documents so that it's backed up by OneDrive. Now, there's some things to be said here about if I'm downloading from Teams, that means the file already exists somewhere in SharePoint or OneDrive. And then I'm going to then download it in OneDrive again. But I'm not going to go off on that tangent. But if that's something you want to do, then you'll be able to do that, or just toggle it to say, hey, I keep my files organized. Please ask me every time so that I can do that. Well,
Yeah.
It's going to let you do that.
I think the second one about asking where to download is a good option. But yeah, you're right. We're assuming as one option people will choose OneDrive, but I want to keep my own personal copy when I'm downloading this, and get out of sync with everything else that's been created.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's some legitimacy there. I mean, sometimes, hey, do you have a template for blah, blah, blah? Yeah, here it is. Well, I want to download it to my OneDrive so I can make it my own to do things, whatever,
Yep.
and make it to whatever. Okay, that's a valid reason. Now, is there other ways to do that? Yes, we're not going to go. This is not a session for everybody of how to use the
How to
tools
download.
to templates and all that. But is there other ways? Yes. But so there's some valid
Definitely.
concepts here. Yep.
Yeah. Good to see it though. It's one of those things where we've got used to it in all sorts of different places. Yeah. Teams now too. Well, that was the week. I know there was
Yes.
more, and there is always
There was,
more these
of
days
course.
in the message center. We do tend to avoid the updated messages unless it is something that arrived and then got updated the very next day. We haven't addressed it yet. And we don't necessarily dive into a whole lot of deep admin things. We want to try and create awareness around user experience, productivity, some of the collaboration aspects of things. But the whole goal of the show has always been to create awareness of the message center, to help you to get that desire to look at it and keep across change within your organization. So good
Absolutely.
to spend time with you today about that.
And make sure you go out to our new channel. We'll be firing that up very, very soon where we're going to be posting new content there as well as streaming every week. So make sure you go and subscribe, 365mcs.com/newtube, and register or subscribe there so that you'll get notifications. We'd love to have you over there so we can continue this community. Feel free to share that channel out. Right now, it's just got a few videos. We know we're building it out. Bear with us. We're not going over there just yet, but we will soon.
Yep. We will start advertising a date, but right now we're just creating general awareness as,
That's right.
as good change management.
That's right.
Suggests.
I'd love to see you out on social. We are 365MCS on Twitter, Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn. We'd love to see you out there sharing this episode and making comments. Love to engage with you. So please do that.
All right. Well, until next week. See you again soon.
Bye, everybody.